Good early evening, everybody. Hope you guys are doing good on this Sunday night. The Seahawks had a practice session today, and we got some updates on the health of a handful of players. So let's quickly comb over it. Again, at this point, injuries and the status of players, their availability or not, is kind of more important at this stage of camp than what actually happens on the VMAC field. But we did get a little bit from that as well. Before I get into the updates here, I just want to say real quick, I am planning on starting a brand new video game tonight over on Twitch. It's not brand new in general, it's brand new to me though. I've never played it, I've never streamed it, and it is quite possibly the most chill game in existence. So it's actually a perfect opportunity for people to come out to the stream and chat with me about football stuff as we approach this season. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, then stop on by my Twitch later tonight. Should be streaming in a few hours. It's going to be Animal Crossing New Horizons. So that's a very, very chill game that you don't have to be hyper focused into and is not really a competitive game in the traditional sense. So it's a perfect opportunity for people to get out there and talk with me. So if you haven't already been to my Twitch, this is a great opportunity. Hope to see you guys there tonight. Okay, so Seahawks practice ended. It was actually an early practice today, so it was over several hours ago. I didn't have the chance to make a video until now. Couple of injury related notes. Like I said, that's kind of the more important thing. Now, this isn't really an injury, but Wagner didn't really participate. He's very much a veteran player. He's been in the league a long time, so he doesn't need to practice every day. So I don't think that's injury related. John Radigan still out, so I don't know how important that is at this point because obviously Radigan did not really look like an NFL caliber linebacker on Thursday, and it's possible the injuries at this point have just zapped him. But yeah, he was out. And also out was Olu Oluwatimi. Carroll said he thought he would miss a couple days, and he missed two practices now, so maybe back next time because tomorrow I believe the Seahawks are off. Monday they get an off day, and then Tuesday they're back at it. So good chance that Oluwatimi at the very least is back for the Tuesday practice, and then he has the opportunity to basically have the whole week to prep for the Cowboys preseason game, which could be a big moment for him. It could be very important for Oluwatimi to assert himself against at least better competition than he got against the Vikings. Against the Vikings, he got a lot of third and fourth stringers. And against the Cowboys, if he starts that game, which I don't know if he will, but if he does, you got to believe he's going to get at least a little bit of Mozzie Smith. And even if not that, should get some slightly better players. So that's the update with Oluwatimi, and that's a big deal. Getting him back in time for the last two preseason games is big. Good news here on Devin Bush. He missed practice yesterday, but he was back at practice today. So we didn't really have anything to worry about. It was a very minor swelling in his knee. Obviously, with a guy like Devin Bush who has missed so much time and been so hampered by injuries, there's no such thing as a minor injury. But it seems like this one was a minor injury. He's back to practice, and people are pretty hyped on Devin Bush right now after that preseason game. He was one of our top performers. And it is kind of important that we get something out of him. Even if he's not great, if he can be decent, that could be good enough. So Devin Bush back at practice, going to make a lot of people feel better. Tariq Woolen, we're taking it easy with him. Didn't do much in the team drills, but he did do a lot of individual work. So he's very close. Personally, I'm not that worried about Reek needing a lot of... and by the way, he is going by Reek now, not Tariq. So it'll take some adjustment, but I'll get used to that. But Reek, I'm not that worried about him needing all of camp and preseason because he did so well last year. But you definitely want him to get a little bit. You definitely want him to get some. He is a second-year player. He is still somewhat new to the position. He does have some areas that he can improve in still. So good to hear that he's at least physically okay, but they are taking it easy with him. Also, same case with K9. K9 did no team drills, but did take part in the early work, is what they call it, which is typically the individual stuff. So he's very close. Again, I already talked about K9, but doesn't seem like there's any real concern there. Witherspoon remained out, but that was expected after yesterday. Yesterday, the coach, Carroll, said that Witherspoon was going to be reevaluated on Tuesday, and they would have a better idea of how close he was. So there was really no opportunity for him to come back today. So that was basically expected. If you look at the full list of guys who did not participate in practice today, Witherspoon, Joey Blunt, which, again, that was the guy we dodged the bullet on, but he's still out for the moment. Cam Young, which is, I mean, that's tough, right? Because he needs these reps. He needs this time. He needs these preseason games, and he's now missing. It's kind of like the Witherspoon thing. It's not necessarily a knock against the player, but missing these reps in preseason and training camp are a big deal for players who are brand new to the NFL. V. Jones remains out, which we expected. Darrell Taylor still waiting for an update about the potential timeline on Darrell Taylor. That's actually another big deal. Not that he needs reps right now, but there is at least some possibility that he misses a little bit of regular season time at this point. Hopefully we get positive news on him. Radigan and, of course, McIntosh is still out, which was expected when the injury happened. Eskridge, we now know he's going to be out for a couple weeks here at least. Cody Thompson, no updates there. Derek Young, apparently getting closer, but not there yet. And, of course, Cade Johnson, who is still in the concussion protocol. So it's a pretty decent list of guys who are being held out, but I don't get the sense that any of these guys are seriously hurt, except maybe Jones and Eskridge. I think those are two guys that you look at and you go, there's a real chance they're still injured. Now, for Eskridge, it doesn't matter, of course, because he's suspended. But V. Jones could actually still be injured for the first regular season game or two. Again, you listen to what Carroll says and you kind of derive stuff from it, right? When he says an injury is legit, then you got to watch out. And that's what he said about Jones. That's what he said about Eskridge. So everybody else, hopefully, is going to be cool very soon here. That's about it for injury stuff. A couple of things. Brady Henderson talking about BT Jordan here, which was the pass rush specialist we brought in during the offseason. I talked about him a little bit before. But one thing I do want to say here, we get so wrapped up in our players, I don't want to lose the potential impact of getting a guy like BT Jordan. This tweet here from Brady Henderson outlines a new drill that he has the pass rushers do. But BT Jordan is a guy whose name has been attached to a lot of the high-profile defensive players, and in some cases even offensive players, but mostly pass rushers over the last several years. Like, if you look at his list of players that he's coached at some point, it's massive. It's not just the guys at Michigan State. It's the guys who went to his camp. It's a really robust list of guys, many of whom have made big impacts at the NFL level at rushing the quarterback. So when you're thinking about the pass rush and the defense as a whole this year, you look at the players and you say, okay, Nwosu might get a little bit better, Maffe's going to get way better, but don't discount the value of this. Because last year, I felt like the Seahawks actually did a good job of getting sacks. Their sack total was up there, but I didn't feel like they did a great job getting consistent pressure. So, BT Jordan, we're betting heavily on him being able to turn this around. And as for somebody who stood out in training camp today, Michael Sean Dugar here calls out DK Metcalf as having a couple of touchdowns on deep passes, which, I mean, we love to see that. We didn't see a ton of long touchdowns for Metcalf last year, and I think that was one thing that people were wondering, are we going to get back to that a little bit? So good to see the Geno DK connection clicking in. One of the touchdowns came with DK lined up in the slot, so we are probably going to see some of that this year. I don't know how much because JSN is such a perfect slot receiver, but yeah, good to see DK building that flexibility. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks.